Before you ever throw a punch, before you ever step into the arena of life, the real battle has already begun. It begins inside your mind. Most people lose long before life challenges them, not because they lack strength, talent, or opportunity, but because their mind has become their greatest enemy. Doubt whispers, fear grows, excuses multiply, and slowly they shrink into a weaker version of who they were meant to be. I've seen warriors with powerful bodies fall instantly because their minds were fragile, and I've seen the smallest, quietest individuals rise because they mastered their inner world. I learned that the most dangerous opponent you will ever face is not the one standing in front of you. It is the one living inside you. Once you destroy that weak voice, once you break those inner chains, nothing outside can stop you. Today, I will show you how. 1. Stop worshipping your excuses. They are your chains. Every weak mind repeats the same pattern. It builds excuses and then bows down to them as if they are absolute truth. But excuses are simply well-packaged lies that allow you to stay small and comfortable. They make you feel safe because they protect you from the uncomfortable truth that growth demands effort, discipline, and risk. When you tell yourself, I'm too tired, I'm too young, I'm too old, I don't have enough time, I don't have support, it may feel reasonable in the moment. But these thoughts are nothing more than mental prisons disguised as logic. They prevent you from taking the first step, and without the first step, no journey is ever possible. When I came to America, I had every excuse available to me. I was foreign, young, broke, and viewed as an outsider. The entertainment industry did not want someone like me. Martial arts was not respected, and I had no powerful family or wealthy friends to open doors. I could have easily said, there is no chance for me here, and I would have been right, because excuses always come true when you believe them. But I chose a different path. I refused to speak the language of limitation. If no door opened, I built my own door. If no room welcomed me, I created my own space. If no one believed in me, I believed in myself twice as fiercely. The strong mind does not wait for perfect timing, perfect circumstances, or perfect conditions. It creates opportunities out of nothing. When you stop glorifying your excuses, you take back your power. You begin to realize that you are not limited by the world outside, but by the story you tell yourself inside. Every excuse you keep repeating is like a chain wrapped around your potential, holding you hostage. Break those chains, and you will be shocked by how much strength, intelligence, creativity, and courage have always lived within you. Excuses are the comfort zone in disguise, but comfort never created greatness. Courage did. The moment you stop worshiping your limitations, you finally see that your life is yours to shape. 2. Train your mind the way you train your body. Most people understand the value of physical training. They go to the gym, lift weights, jog, stretch, and strengthen their muscles. But they completely overlook the part of themselves that directs every movement, the mind. A weak mind will sabotage even the strongest body. It will make excuses, create doubt, hesitate at critical moments, and collapse under pressure. That is why real strength begins inside. When I trained my body, I was never just practicing kicks and punches. I was sharpening my ability to focus, endure pain, stay present, and act without hesitation. Physical training was merely a doorway to mental training. Your body can only go as far as your mind has been prepared to take it. If your thoughts are scattered, fearful, undisciplined, then your actions will reflect that weakness, no matter how strong your muscles appear. You must understand that mental strength does not come naturally. It must be developed intentionally. Read books, reflect deeply, ask questions, learn from your mistakes, and expose yourself to challenges that force growth. Discipline your thoughts the same way you discipline your breathing during a difficult workout. A powerful mind is built every day through consistent practice, by resisting temptations, completing your tasks even when you're tired, controlling reactions, and staying calm under pressure. When I was young, I spent countless hours not only training my body, but studying philosophy, psychology, and the nature of human beings. I realized that fighting is not merely physical, it is a psychological battle. The one who controls their mind controls the outcome. If you panic, you lose. If you hesitate, you lose. If you doubt yourself, you lose. But if your mind remains steady, clear, confident, adaptable, your actions will be precise and powerful. The mind must be cleansed of clutter, fear, regret, distraction, and overthinking. Just as you would not expect to lift heavy weights without training, you cannot expect to handle life's difficulties without mental preparation. People say they want to be strong, but they avoid the mental work required. Instead of running from challenges, face them. Instead of shrinking in fear, lean forward. Every difficult situation trains your mind, improving your ability to remain composed and resourceful. Treat your mind as your strongest muscle. Feed it with knowledge, challenge it with discipline, stretch it with new experiences, and quiet it with reflection. Over time, it will transform you into someone who is firm, calm, sharp, and ready. When the mind becomes strong, the body and life naturally follow. The true warrior trains within first. 3. Stop seeking validation. Trust your inner knowing. One of the greatest traps of a weak mind is its constant hunger for validation from others. It measures its worth through the opinions, approval, or applause of people who often know nothing about our journey. When you depend on praise, you hand over your power, and your life becomes a performance designed to please others rather than an expression of your true self. This weakens the spirit. The moment you allow other people to define you, you lose sight of who you are. True strength begins when you trust your inner voice more than the noise outside. Most people live their entire lives trying to be accepted by society, family, friends, or strangers online, yet many of those same people are lost, insecure, or afraid themselves. When you seek validation from others, you are seeking approval from minds that have not mastered their own lives. How can they guide you? Their judgment is limited by their experiences, fears, and beliefs, not yours. If you allow their limitations to shape you, your life will shrink to fit their ideas of what is possible. When I began teaching martial arts, many traditional masters criticized me for mixing styles, teaching non-Chinese students, and refusing to follow old rules. They told me I was wrong, that my ideas would fail, that my approach was disrespectful. But I instinctively knew that martial arts were not meant to be caged by tradition. They were meant to evolve, adapt, and reflect the individual. If I had listened to those voices, I would have never created Jeet Kune Do, and the world would have never known the movement that came from my spirit. I trusted my inner knowing even when I was alone. This is what most people fear, the loneliness that comes with being authentic. But loneliness is not a curse. It is a stage of transformation. When you stop needing validation, you will begin to live with dignity, clarity, and confidence. You will understand that your value comes from who you are, not from who agrees with you. Validation is dangerous because it is addictive. The more you get, the more you need, and soon you lose yourself trying to maintain an image. You become afraid to take risks, afraid to fail, afraid to be different, because someone might not approve. But greatness demands individuality. It demands courage. You cannot walk a unique path while begging others to bless your footsteps. Trust your experiences, your vision, your instincts. They are your compass. Others can give opinions, but only you can live your life and face its consequences. Learning to trust yourself does not mean you will always be right. It means you are willing to learn, adjust, and grow. Mistakes become teachers, not enemies. When you follow your inner knowing, your decisions will feel lighter, your actions more meaningful, and your path more aligned with your true nature. Approval becomes irrelevant. You stop performing and start living. Remember, people will doubt you simply because your courage exposes their fear. They will criticize what they cannot understand. That is not your burden to carry. The only person you need permission from is yourself. When you trust who you are and what you know deep in your soul, you become unstoppable. Not because the world believes in you, but because you believe in you. 4. Replace fear with action. Only action destroys weakness. Fear is one of the greatest architects of a weak mind. It builds invisible walls that look real, and because they look real, people never even try to walk through them. Fear convinces you to stay still, to delay, to think endlessly without ever taking a single step. The tragedy is not that people are incapable. The tragedy is that they never act because fear has already defeated them before life even tests them. Action is the enemy of fear. The moment you move, fear loses its power. When you remain frozen, fear multiplies inside your mind and grows into something enormous. But understand this clearly. Almost nothing is as frightening in reality as it is inside the imagination. The mind magnifies danger more than the world ever could. When you take action, you discover that the monster you feared was only a shadow. When I injured my back, the doctors told me that I might never perform martial arts again. For a fighter, that is not just physical pain, it is the destruction of identity, purpose, and future. My mind could have surrendered to fear, and no one would have blamed me. But I refused to let fear write my story. Instead of accepting defeat, I began rebuilding myself from the ground up. I studied the mechanics of movement even more intensely. I wrote down my philosophy. I visualized every kick, every punch, every motion, until my mind and body remembered the path to victory. Fear invited me to quit, but action transformed fear into strength. This turning point was not simply about healing. It was about proving to myself that whenever fear appears, action must follow. That is the rule. That is the path. Most people misunderstand fear. They think the goal is to eliminate it. Number. Fear will always exist because you are human. The goal is to prevent fear from controlling your life. You defeat fear not by waiting for confidence to appear, but by acting in spite of it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement through fear. Every time you take action, you send a message to your mind, I am in control. With each step, fear shrinks, and the more consistently you act, the less fear returns. This is how warriors are made. They move before their emotions are ready. They act before conditions are perfect. They make decisions based on purpose, not comfort. The weak mind waits for motivation. The strong mind creates momentum by moving first. Fear thrives in overthinking. You imagine every negative possibility, every disaster, every failure, and suddenly the path ahead looks impossible. But understand this truth. The more you think without acting, the weaker you become. Thinking alone does not create strength. Only action does. You cannot learn to swim by reading about water. You must get in the water. You cannot build confidence by imagining success. You must attempt success, fail, attempt again, and grow. Action gives you real experience, and real experience replaces fear with understanding. Once you understand something, it no longer intimidates you. Fear will tell you you're not ready. But readiness is not something you wait for. It is something you earn through action. The first step you take is what makes you ready. If you hesitate, fear wins. If you move, fear burns away. And even if you fail, you will be stronger than the person who never tried. Failure is simply education. It teaches the mind how to adapt. It teaches you what works and what does not. But fear tricks you into believing that failure means the end. It is not the end. It is the beginning of wisdom. Action is the purifier of the mind. It burns away hesitation, doubt, insecurity, and weakness. Every time you act, no matter how small the step, you transform yourself. Your body becomes disciplined. Your thoughts become sharper. Your spirit becomes tougher. But the greatest transformation is internal. You learn that you are capable of far more than you believed. You learn that fear was only a gate, not a wall. And once you pass through that gate, a new world opens. If you want to destroy your weak mind, do not negotiate with fear. Do not wait until you feel brave. Take action now, while afraid. Life rewards those who move, not those who wait. The fighter who strikes first gains the edge. The mind works the same way. Strike first. Move boldly. With every action, fear loses strength and you gain power. That is how the unstoppable are born. 5. Silence, your inner chaos. A busy mind is a weak mind. A weak mind is noisy. It jumps from thought to thought, reacting to every emotion, every distraction, every fear. It is constantly occupied with worries about the future, regrets from the past, and endless stories about what if. This inner chaos drains your energy before life even begins to challenge you. When the mind is loud, you cannot see clearly. You become a prisoner of your own thoughts. A strong mind, however, learns to be still. It learns to observe thoughts without being controlled by them. Silence is not the absence of noise. It is the absence of chaos. When the mind becomes calm, it becomes powerful. It acts with intention rather than reacting blindly. This is why I often repeated the lesson, be like water. Water does not force its way, it flows with clarity. You must learn to quiet your inner storms so that you can see the truth of the moment. In a fight, the loudest opponent is never the one standing in front of you. It is the one screaming inside your head. The mind will shout, "You're not ready. What if you fail? What if he is stronger? What if you lose everything?" If you listen to that voice, you are defeated before you even move. But when your mind becomes still, you can see the opponent clearly. You can sense his movement, feel his rhythm, and act with precision. This is not only true in martial arts, it is true in life. When your inner world is chaotic, every small problem looks enormous. But when your mind is calm, even the biggest challenge becomes simple. Silence allows you to navigate life with clarity and confidence. When I trained, I did not only practice with my body, I trained my mind to slow down. I practiced deep breathing, meditation, and presence. I learned to observe my thoughts as if they were passing clouds rather than truths I must obey. When a thought came, I did not fight it, but I did not let it rule me. I acknowledged it, allowed it to pass, and returned to the present moment. This skill is what separates a warrior from a frantic person. The warrior acts without confusion. Every movement is deliberate. Every decision is grounded. Most people have never experienced true silence inside themselves, so they do not understand how much noise controls them. Their minds are constantly busy, worrying, comparing, overthinking, replaying old memories, imagining problems that do not exist. When the mind is busy, there is no space for wisdom. The noise suffocates clarity. Inner silence does not mean you stop thinking. It means you stop being bullied by your thoughts. You stop giving every thought power. Instead, you choose which ones deserve attention. You move from reacting to responding. You move from chaos to command. This transition is a form of liberation. It frees you from the emotional storms that once shook your life. With a quiet mind, you can listen to your intuition, the deep inner knowing that speaks only when the noise is gone. Intuition is your greatest guide. It sees beyond logic, beyond fear, beyond doubt. But it can only be heard in silence. A chaotic mind is weak because it wastes energy. Energy leaks through worry, anxiety, overthinking, anger, and fear. You wake up tired even if you did nothing all day because your mind was fighting imaginary battles. But a quiet mind has focus. It preserves energy. It directs it. It does not waste strength on meaningless thoughts. This is why silence is a source of power. When your mind becomes still, you can commit fully to the present moment. Whether you are training, speaking, working, or resting, you are fully there. And when you are fully present, your actions become sharper and more effective. You move with intention instead of confusion. The world today is designed to make your mind busy. Technology, noise, opinions, pressure, comparison, everything pulls your attention in 10 different directions. This scattering destroys strength. To reclaim your power, you must train your mind to return to stillness. This requires discipline. Spend moments every day in quiet. Whether you meditate, breathe deeply, sit alone, or walk without distraction, you must learn to detach from the noise. When you are able to sit in silence without discomfort, it means you have mastered your inner world. Most people are terrified of silence because silence shows them who they truly are, without distraction, without escape. But facing yourself is the path to strength. You cannot master life until you master your mind. When your mind is quiet, life becomes deeper. You begin noticing details you never saw before. The wind, your heartbeat, the feeling of your breath, the presence of others. Everything becomes more vivid. You are no longer lost in your thoughts. You are living. And when you live fully in the present, fear loses its power because fear exists only in the future and regret exists only in the past. A silent mind lives here, now, fully alive. This is true strength. When nothing inside you is chaotic, nothing outside can disturb you. That is the essence of mastery. 6. Embrace struggle. It is the only path to power. A weak mind believes that struggle is a sign of failure, a punishment, or a sign that life is unfair. It tries to avoid discomfort, avoid challenges, and avoid anything that threatens the familiar. But this avoidance is exactly what keeps people small and powerless. The strong mind understands that struggle is not the enemy, it is the teacher. Every meaningful transformation requires pressure. Just as muscle only grows when it is pushed beyond its limits, the mind and spirit only grow when life demands more from them than they are used to giving. Without challenge, no strength is ever developed. Without resistance, there is no power. If you seek an easy path, you will live an easy life. But easy lives never produce greatness, character, or depth. They produce weakness. When I first arrived in America, I faced barriers that had nothing to do with my skill. Racism, fear, cultural prejudice, the assumption that someone like me could never be a leading figure. Every day was a struggle. My accent, my appearance, my ideas, everything was questioned. But I did not look at this struggle as something meant to break me. I saw it as something meant to sharpen me. The more the world resisted me, the stronger I became. When you face resistance, do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, ask, "How is this helping me grow?" That shift changes everything. Pain becomes guidance. Hardship becomes fuel. Struggle becomes your greatest sculptor, carving out the strongest version of you. One of the most difficult struggles of my life came when I injured my back. Doctors told me that my martial arts career might be finished. For a fighter, this is a spiritual death. I could have surrendered. I could have let depression take over. I could have believed the voices telling me that my journey was over. But I understood something most people never realize. Struggle is only fatal when you give up. The body can be rebuilt, the spirit can be reforged, and the mind, if trained, can turn injury into opportunity. During this time, when my body was weak, my mind became unstoppable. I studied harder than ever. I wrote pages of philosophy. I visualized movement when I could not perform it physically. I deepened my understanding of martial arts beyond the surface level of punches and kicks. That struggle did not end me, it evolved me. In truth, the injury that could have destroyed me became one of the most important chapters of my life. That is the nature of struggle. It looks like destruction, but hides transformation. People misunderstand difficulty. They think if something is hard, it means they are on the wrong path. But often the hardest path is the right one, because it is the path that forces you to grow. The easiest path leads nowhere. Struggle demands that you activate abilities you never knew you had. It forces you to learn patience, discipline, adaptability, emotional control, humility, courage, and clarity. These qualities are not learned in comfort. They are forged in fire. A life without struggle produces a shallow mind. A life with struggle produces a warrior. The question is not whether you face struggle. The question is whether you accept it or try to run from it. When you resist struggle, it increases your suffering. When you embrace struggle, suffering decreases because you stop fighting reality. You begin to cooperate with life rather than battle against it. Struggle is not a punishment. It is part of your training. Every challenge is a lesson disguised as difficulty. Losing a job teaches resourcefulness. Losing a relationship teaches self-worth. Losing money teaches discipline. Losing a dream teaches resilience so you can build a stronger one. But most people are too afraid to look for the lesson. They only see the pain. When you train your mind to see lessons instead of wounds, every struggle becomes useful. Nothing is wasted.
Look at nature. Trees do not grow strong in gentle breezes. They grow strong because of storms. Their roots dig deeper each time the wind tries to tear them down. Without storms, they would fall easily. You are no different. Life will shake you, bend you, and test you so that your roots can deepen. If life protected you from struggle, you would remain fragile. So do not curse the storm. Thank it. It is teaching you how to stand taller.
There is a secret hidden inside every struggle. Once you pass through it, the version of you that emerges is stronger, wiser, and more capable than the version that entered. Struggle is a doorway. Weakness cannot walk through, but strength can. If you want to rise, you must be willing to bleed, sweat, stumble, and keep going. The weak mind waits for easy days. The strong mind understands that difficulty is the price of power. Every challenge is an invitation to become better. Every setback is a chance to rebuild smarter. Every failure is simply a step in your evolution. The only true defeat is quitting. Do not shield yourself from hardship. Walk toward it with awareness. Feel the fear and discomfort without letting them control you. Instead of trying to escape the storm, learn how to dance within it. When you stop resisting pain, pain becomes purpose. When you stop hiding from challenges, challenges become growth. When you stop rejecting struggle, struggle becomes strength. The world respects those who endure, not those who surrender. Stand firm, lean forward. Understand that every difficulty is preparing you, refining you, and shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of your own destiny. The day you begin to embrace struggle rather than fear, it is the day your weak mind begins to die. That is the day your true strength awakens. Because once you realize that everything you have ever overcome made you wiser, stronger, and more capable, you stop seeing struggle as an enemy. You see it as a sacred companion on the path to greatness. Without it, nothing meaningful is possible. With it, everything becomes possible. Struggle is not the obstacle, it is the path. 7. Create your identity. Do not borrow someone else's. A weak mind is always searching for someone to copy. It looks around the world asking, "Who should I be?" instead of asking, "Who am I meant to become?" It hides behind the identities of others because it is afraid to stand alone. But imitation is the slow death of the spirit. If you only echo the voices around you, your true inner voice never awakens. The strong mind understands that identity is not something you inherit from the world. It is something you build through choices, struggle, honesty, and experience. When you borrow who you are from society, your life becomes hollow. You perform instead of live. You follow instead of lead. You become a shadow rather than a source of light. When I studied martial arts, I was surrounded by different systems, each claiming superiority. Every style said, "Our way is the only way," and many students accepted this blindly. They bowed not to truth, but to tradition. I respected tradition, but I refused to be its prisoner. I studied every style deeply, not to be limited by them, but to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each. I realized that no system had all the answers. Each held only a piece of the puzzle. So instead of worshiping a single form, I chose freedom. I took what was useful, discarded what was not, and added what was uniquely my own. This became Jeet Kune Do. It was not just a martial art, it was a philosophy of living. It taught that the highest form of strength is individuality. Creating your identity means having the courage to break patterns that do not fit your nature. It requires you to think honestly about your beliefs, values, and purpose. Most people never do this inner work. They accept the identity handed to them by parents, culture, religion, friends, or society, and then they wonder why they feel lost or empty. When you live someone else's life, you feel disconnected from yourself. You chase goals that do not belong to you. You follow paths that were never yours to walk. This is why so many people feel confusion even when they succeed. They climbed a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. Identity must be built from within, not borrowed from outside. True identity is discovered by asking yourself difficult questions. What do I value? What do I believe in? What excites me? What do I fear? What do I want to give to the world? These questions take time to understand, but they reveal the deepest truth. You are not here to be a copy. You are here to contribute something that only you can give. The world does not need another Bruce Lee, another celebrity, another trend follower. It needs you, your voice, your vision, your journey. But you can only offer these things when you stop pretending to be someone else. A weak mind clings to labels because labels feel safe. I am this type of person. I belong to this group. I do this because everyone else does it. But labels create walls around your potential. They limit you. A strong mind understands that identity is fluid. It evolves. It expands. The more you learn about yourself, the more your identity changes. This is natural. Identity should grow as you grow. If your identity today is the same as it was 5 years ago, you are not evolving. You are repeating. Growth requires letting go of old versions of yourself so that new versions can emerge. When you create your identity, you also gain a deeper sense of freedom. You no longer fear judgment because you are not trying to impress anyone. You are simply living truthfully. You begin acting from strength instead of insecurity. You stop seeking approval. You stop comparing your journey to others. You start walking with clarity and direction because you know who you are and why you live the way you do. This inner certainty gives you a power that no one can take away. People may doubt you, criticize you, or misunderstand you, but they cannot shake you. You are grounded in your truth. Creating your identity also means embracing your uniqueness. The qualities that make you different are not weaknesses. They are gifts. When I was told that a Chinese man could not be a leading actor in America, that my accent was too heavy, that my philosophy was too strange, I could have tried to change myself to fit their expectations. I could have hidden my culture, softened my identity, or copied what others were doing just to be accepted. But if I had done that, I would have lost the very qualities that made me who I am. Instead, I embraced my difference. I made it my strength. I showed the world that my identity was not an obstacle, it was my advantage. This is what you must understand. No one can compete with you when you become yourself completely. Identity is created through action. You build it by making choices aligned with your truth. You build it by trying, failing, learning, and refining. You build it by stepping into your life rather than watching from the sidelines. Every experience shapes you, but only if you face it with awareness. If you run from challenges, you lose pieces of yourself. If you face them, you gain pieces. Identity is not built in comfort. It is built in decisions, risks, and honesty. You must dare to be different, even if it means walking alone. The path of originality is not crowded because most people fear judgment more than they desire authenticity. But understand this: the reward for originality is not popularity, it is freedom. When you live according to your own nature, you feel alive. Every moment becomes filled with meaning. You stop pretending. You stop hiding. You begin to move like water, natural, effortless, powerful, because you are finally aligned with yourself. Do not let the world tell you who to be. Do not let old systems cage your spirit. You are not here to repeat history. You are here to create it. When you take responsibility for shaping your identity, your weak mind fades away because weakness comes from dependency. The moment you stand on your own foundation, the world can no longer control you. You become the architect of your life, the sculptor of your spirit, the author of your destiny. You were born with a spark that no one else possesses. Protect it, nurture it, let it grow into something the world has never seen. That is how greatness is born, not from imitation, but from authenticity, not from conformity, but from creation. The greatest gift you can give the world is the truest version of yourself. 8. Master your emotional response. Control yourself before you control life. A weak mind is easily controlled by emotion. It becomes angry at the smallest insult, anxious in the smallest uncertainty, jealous over someone else's success, and discouraged by the first sign of struggle. It reacts instantly, without thinking, like a flame touching gasoline. This emotional instability makes life chaotic. When your emotions dictate your actions, you lose your ability to choose wisely. You become a slave to whatever feeling passes through your mind. A strong mind, however, understands that emotion is just a signal, not a commander. It acknowledges emotion, feels it, studies it, but does not let it take the wheel. Mastery begins when you learn to respond instead of react. Many people misunderstand emotions. They think strength means never feeling afraid, sad, angry, or uncertain. This is untrue. Strength is not the absence of emotion. Strength is the ability to remain centered even while emotion moves through you. When I stepped into the world of competitive martial arts and performance, I faced critics everywhere. Some people laughed at my philosophy, some mocked my background, some tried to discourage me before I even began. If I allowed anger or insecurity to dominate my mind, I would have wasted my energy fighting shadows. Instead, I learned to control myself before confronting the world. I let emotions settle like water in a still pond. Only then could I see clearly and act effectively. When emotion rules you, your clarity disappears. Think about a time when anger took over your mind. You probably said or did something you later regretted. Or when fear overwhelmed your thoughts, you avoided action that could have changed your life. Emotion distorts perception. It magnifies small problems, turns opinions into threats, and transforms doubts into immovable walls. Most people are not defeated by life itself. They are defeated by the emotional reactions they never learn to control. The battle is internal, always internal. If the inner world is chaotic, the outer world becomes impossible to navigate. A strong mind builds emotional discipline the same way a warrior builds physical discipline, through awareness, repetition, and patience. You must learn to observe emotion without immediately obeying it. When anger arises, notice it. Pause. Ask yourself, what is this anger trying to tell me? Is it truth or just wounded ego? When fear appears, do not push it away. Examine it. Understand what it is warning you about. Emotion is a messenger, and if you listen with calmness, you gain wisdom. But if you react blindly, you gain only regret. Emotional mastery does not mean silence. It means choosing expression rather than exploding. It means speaking with intention rather than lashing out. It means waiting for clarity rather than rushing into chaos. I practiced emotional mastery both in battle and in everyday life. In Jeet Kune Do, speed without calmness is reckless. Power without control is dangerous. Emotion in combat must be like a controlled flame, hot enough to energize movement, but never wild enough to burn you. I trained myself to breathe deeply, to center my awareness in the present moment, and to respond with precision rather than panic. This same approach applies to life. When tension rises, breathe. When uncertainty appears, observe. When someone tries to provoke you, remain still within yourself. If another person can control your reaction, they control you. If life can manipulate your emotions, life owns you. But if you govern your emotional world, nothing outside you can break your peace. Emotional mastery also builds resilience. When difficult situations arise, most people collapse mentally because their emotions overpower them. They become overwhelmed by fear and surrender. But when you have trained yourself to remain steady, setbacks no longer crush you. They simply become experiences to learn from. You feel the pain fully, but you do not drown in it. You allow disappointment to touch you, but not poison you. You allow grief to move through you, but not define you. This is true strength, the ability to feel deeply, yet remain steady within. Another important truth: emotional mastery protects your relationships. Many people damage friendships, families, and partnerships, not because they lack love, but because they lack emotional control. They speak in anger and cannot take the words back. They withdraw in fear and lose opportunities. They let jealousy ruin joy. When you control your emotions, you communicate with clarity and grace. You listen without reacting defensively. You speak honestly without attacking. You correct without humiliating. This brings harmony rather than conflict. The strong warrior who conquers himself becomes a source of stability for others. Do not mistake emotional suppression for emotional mastery. Suppression is avoidance. Mastery is understanding. Suppression pushes feelings into the shadows where they grow stronger. Mastery brings them into the light where they dissolve. To control emotion, you must first acknowledge it, feel it fully, then release it. Like water, emotion must flow. If it is trapped, it becomes destructive. When you allow yourself to feel without attaching to the feeling, you become free. You are no longer chained to emotional storms. Emotional mastery transforms your life because it gives you the most powerful ability to choose your response. Every situation, no matter how intense, gives you a choice. React unconsciously and lose control, or respond consciously and maintain power. When you choose your response, you take command of your destiny. Life becomes less about what happens to you and more about how you interpret and act upon it. The weak blame circumstances, the strong govern their inner world. When you master your emotional response, you discover a strength deeper than muscle and sharper than thought. You become unshakable. The world can challenge you, but it cannot break you. People can misunderstand you, but they cannot define you. Life can push you, but it cannot move you off your center. This state of inner steadiness is rare and precious. It is the foundation of true freedom. To destroy your weak mind, you must learn to master your emotional landscape. This is the highest level of self-control. When you no longer react to life in panic, anger, or fear, you rise above circumstances. You begin to shape life instead of being shaped by it. The warrior who conquers his emotional self becomes unstoppable, not because life becomes easier, but because nothing within him remains fragile. This is the way of the inner warrior. Everything you have heard is not theory, not philosophy floating in the clouds. It is truth forged from my own life. I did not become who I am because I was the fastest, the strongest, or the most talented. Many were faster, many were stronger, but few were willing to master the inner world where true battles are fought. The weak mind looks for shortcuts, seeking comfort instead of strength. The strong mind understands that growth is uncomfortable, and yet it walks toward that discomfort without hesitation. If you truly wish to become unstoppable, you must stop trying to control the world around you and begin mastering the world within you. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not the opponent standing in front of you. It is the doubt whispering inside your head, the fear that tightens your chest, the excuses that try to seduce you back into safety. I faced those voices too. When I came to America, I was told I would never succeed. When I taught openly, I was told I was disrespecting tradition. When I acted, I was told my face and voice would never be accepted. And when I injured my back, I was told my career might be over. The world challenged me again and again. But every challenge spoke one message. If you do not give up on yourself, no one can stop you. Each of these lessons, destroying excuses, training the mind like the body, trusting your inner knowing, replacing fear with action, silencing chaos, embracing struggle, creating your identity, and mastering your emotional response, forms a path. Not a path outside, but a path inward. When you walk this path with discipline, courage, and honesty, you will discover a power far greater than physical strength. You will move with purpose, clarity, and calmness. You will stop reacting and start choosing. You will begin to create your life rather than be dragged by it. Look deeply at your life. The pain you have endured, the challenges you have faced, the losses that still live in your heart, none of them were meant to break you. They were invitations to grow. They were the heat that forges steel. If you accept this truth, struggle becomes meaning and pain becomes fuel. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin to ask, how is this shaping who I must become? That is the shift from weakness to strength. That is where transformation begins. Do not chase strength only in the outer world. Do not think muscles or status will make you powerful. They will not. Power comes from the ability to remain steady when life becomes chaotic, to act when fear tries to paralyze you, to trust your truth even when no one stands beside you. Power is the ability to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing yourself, to move like water, flexible yet unstoppable. This is the kind of strength that cannot be taken from you because it does not come from the outside. It comes from within. Understand this final truth. Your life is the expression of your mind. If your mind is weak, your life will be filled with confusion, fear, regret, and limitation. But if your mind is strong, your life will reflect clarity, purpose, peace, and unstoppable momentum. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. Master your mind, and you master everything. The journey will not be easy, but easy journeys lead nowhere worth going. Be willing to walk alone. Be willing to fail. Be willing to be misunderstood. Do not fear the unknown. Move toward it with curiosity. Do not fear difficulty. It is your teacher. Do not fear pain. It is temporary. What matters is who you become through the process. Every day you wake up, you are given a new chance to choose strength over weakness, discipline over laziness, courage over fear. Practice these choices. Make them repeatedly until they become your nature. If you stumble, rise again. If you doubt, return to your breath. If you fear, take the next step anyway. With every deliberate action, your weak mind dies little by little, and the strong mind awakens. The day will come when you look back and realize that every struggle was preparing you, every lesson was guiding you, and every setback was lifting you toward a higher version of yourself. Remember this: you are not here to repeat the world. You are here to shape it. You are not here to imitate. You are here to create. You are not here to remain small. You are here to expand. When you destroy the limitations within, the world outside becomes limitless. The only true prison is the mind. The only true freedom is mastery of self. This is the path. Walk it with courage. Walk it with awareness. Walk it without hesitation. And when your inner world becomes unshakable, nothing outside will ever be able to destroy you again. That is when you will know you have become unstoppable. Be like water, flowing, powerful, free.